Hello everybody, thank you for joining me today for another Twilight Zone video in my Twilight Zone ranking series, where I rank every episode of the original Twilight Zone from my least favorite to my favorite. Today I'm going to be talking about number 61, The Odyssey of Flight 33, written by Rod Serling and directed by Justus Addiss. This is a Season 2 episode, and as always there will be spoilers. So, I've always enjoyed this episode, Odyssey of Flight 33. It's a pretty unique episode that I consider to be pretty memorable and pretty entertaining. John Anderson leads a fairly big ensemble cast as the plane's captain for the Twilight Zone. All the acting is really solid. The cast really helped sell me on this strange situation of this episode, so I thought they all did a good job. One thing I've always really liked about this episode is the dialogue. It really feels pretty realistic, so I credit Rod Serling for that. So, we start and we're watching some people on a plane, Flight 33, which is supposed to be landing in New York. But somehow, mysteriously, the plane hits a tailwind, which speeds the plane up, and also they lose radio contact. So now they're not sure exactly what's going on. And eventually, the captain decides he's going to descend to get a closer look at things. So the crew notices certain things when they descend, but there's no New York City, and all of a sudden they see a dinosaur. Yes, really a dinosaur. This is the Twilight Zone after all, and realize that somehow they have gone back in time. I would say they've gone back in time quite a bit. And I have to say the dinosaur is really great. I've always enjoyed this scene, and I think this is definitely a scene from the episode that a lot of fans probably remember. So at this time, the crew talks about it, and they decide to increase speed and try and catch the same tailwind again, hoping that it brings them into present day, and I guess that's as good of an idea as any other one. So at first they think this actually works, as they can see New York City again, until they realize they are viewing the World's Fair from 1939, so they are still in the past, just not as far in the past. So the captain considers landing when he does get some radio contact, but he says the runway might be too short for the plane, so they decide they are going to not risk it and try and get back to the present one more time before fuel runs out. And in something that's kind of interesting for a Twilight Zone, the episode just ends very abruptly, and we're not really sure exactly what happens to Flight 33 from there. Now, I don't always like this kind of open ending, but I think it works here, the way it's set up in the episode. The episode still manages to be suspenseful and believable, at least to me, so I thought the ending worked fine. I will say, though, one thing I've always questioned about this episode is maybe it would have been better to take a chance on landing in the past instead of staying in the air with limited fuel. I mean, I get there's some risk to landing as well, but I feel like maybe that should have been considered a bit more. But still, I really like the Odyssey of Flight 33. I think it's a memorable, entertaining, and well-made episode, and it has a dinosaur in it, so that's why it ranks for me at number 61 on the list. As always, let me know if you liked this episode or not. Thanks for your support, and thanks for watching.